Some of the catches we've seen online from Cam Coleman this past week are insane. What does that do for the rest of the wide receiver room?
In a world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie Five.
So we're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast, bonus edition with my man Ben Taylor from the Auburn Network, and we are ready to rock and roll. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Cam Coleman, newsflash, he's a dude. He's a dude, and he is proving he's been proving every bit of the hype around him this past week with some of the catches we've seen online. Kind of not really super surprising, but we've got some I guess some stuff to talk about from things scouts have seen in our practice. We'll break that down, and then we'll talk about recruiting and outlook there at the end. But before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to Rhoback.com. Ben, they dropped some the new Auburn gear. There's a new hoodie, a new polo, a new pullover. I need to check it out. Use coupon code BARN20 and save big. Get your Auburn game day gear lined up and ready for the season. It's Rhoback.com.
Kyle, you mentioned Cam's a dude.
He is.
The thing is, it's amazing. He was already showing it towards the end of last year. That last 4 to 5 games, he had better numbers than another receiver that's in the state of Alabama that plays for another team across the state. When you look at some of those numbers, however, it's amazing what a year does as far as maturity, whether it be routes, whatever it may be. However, this had nothing to do with routes. This clearly, from what we saw online this past weekend, was more of like a 7-on-7 type deal. But the DB knew the ball was headed that way. They were working on back shoulder / end zone shot / corner of the end zone / pylon throws. So that's another thing. When you know it's coming and you still can't stop it, that lets you know that the other guy is just good, man.
Yeah.
And so it was fun to see because I kept calling for that last year. So to know that we're practicing it and working on it, I'm going to get to see it this year.
The period that I saw, that most of these catches were on Thursday. He just had a phenomenal day Thursday. Yeah. They were doing it wasn't really 7-on-7. It was like 2 versus 2. Okay. It was 2 DBs, 2 wide receivers, and they were on like inside the 10-yard line. And it was end zone shot plays. That was like that half of the field end zone shot plays. And like you said, it made me nervous, honestly, because he's going up multiple times like that. You're just like, please just don't come down on your ankle wrong. Like that's all I'm thinking.
Shoulder, elbow,
yeah, something.
Everything known to man.
And it is freaking physical, man. They are killing each other. And the catch one of the catches you're talking about, it was really like a simultaneous catch with what is his name? Kay and Lee. And they came down, just boom, come down hard. And he's just mossing people. He had another one on the other side of the field. Yeah. Remember Tyrone Prothrow when he caught the ball in the back of the head of the defender? I know. He caught I'm just saying, everybody knows that catch. He caught one on like Jay Crawford's head on the other side. And these are guys. Now, I'm not saying he beat them every time. Like they beat him a good bit. Rayon Strader beat him one time and let him know about it with some words I can't repeat. But
please repeat them now so we can share on radio and everything.
The FCC will definitely come after us, or whoever it is that monitors that. But no, he's a dude, man, and what that does to me is he's confirming a lot of the hype, and that puts so much pressure on opposing defenses because at any point in time they can just throw it up to him, and it's not really a 50-50. It's more like a 70-30 if it's anywhere in the ballpark. He's good, man. He's big. He seems bigger. He seems just much more physical and much more willing to go up and make those big contested catches.
And I bring that up to you because what does that do to the rest of the room? Because you got 3 dudes that are just so different. And this is not even including Malcolm Simmons. You got Singleton, who is shifty, can get off the line. You've even seen pros like retweet some of his moves and said, this is amazing how he gets off the line and gets open really quickly. Then you've got Perry Thompson that you and I talked about last week, because it was released that he's got 21-mile-per-hour speed as far as getting downfield. So he's just going to be able to outrun people for the most part. And then you've got Cam Coleman that, listen, if you get inside the 20-yard line or 25-yard line, let's just call it an extended red zone, he's a danger just to high point a ball anywhere in the end zone. So what does this do as far as Singleton and Thompson and Simmons? And we're not even talking about tight ends yet. I mean, we're just about everybody's going to be split out. Can you imagine, Kyle, something that you and I like because we love offense, that because we haven't talked about those three being out there at the same time. You get inside the 25 and you got those three weapons on the outside, along with maybe Simmons. Let's say you decide to go with 5 receivers. You got Simmons as well as a tight end that can get loose as well. I mean, the options that Jackson Arnold has, not just inside the red zone, but inside the 30.
Yeah. I mean, Cam definitely, Cam being the guy that we think he can be, makes everybody better. Like, doing stuff like he's able to do makes everybody better, because they all can do different things and you have to defend them different ways. Honestly, Perry Thompson has shown me some catches that are very similar to what Cam can do.
Yeah.
So he's big and physical too. So I think they're just such a, it's one thing to have a good wide receiver room. It's another thing to have a room that like everybody complements each other so very well, that gives, you can't put that group in a box and say, as a defensive coordinator, and say, we're going to defend them this way. Like, as a defensive coordinator, you're trying to call like the coverages that, give you the best shot at blanketing, all of them, but you have to do it, and you have to take this group in different ways. So I got to imagine the nightmare that this group really gives opposing defensive coordinators. They're fun to watch. They're going to be really good. But there's no question Cam is the dude of that room.
Yeah. And you said makes everybody better. I think that includes the defensive backs.
Sure.
Because they're not going to face very many guys built like Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman, especially at the same time.
Yeah.
Nor are they going to face very many guys off the line of scrimmage, like we talked about Singleton, how shifty he is to be able to cover somebody like that.
Ben, did you play baseball growing up?
Yeah.
When you get on deck, you remember those old donuts they used to put on the bat when you're on deck, swing and make your bat a lot heavier?
Yeah.
And then it didn't change the weight of the bat, but for whatever reason, when you got up to bat, it just felt like that bat was a lot lighter.
Way lighter. Yeah.
I feel like that's what it's going to be like for this defensive back room. They're swinging the heavy-weighted bat right now every day in practice, and vice versa for the wide receivers. So when you get out there, it just feels you feel fast. You're going to feel faster. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to feel like you can beat them, because you're going against such good competition every day in practice. And I will say, I don't think Auburn's really experienced that as a whole from the wide receiver and the DB room in quite some time, maybe ever.
I know we got to get to a break, but speaking of DBs, I want to talk about the DBs as well as the offensive line, if you don't mind.
We'll talk about the DBs right after this.
So I'm talking to Daryl Dapprich, who you do a Sunday night show with. You guys go live on the Barn. And he and I are talking about scouts that showed up. And, of course, everybody knows they're there to look at some of the receivers. They may even be there to look at Jackson Arnold for all we know. But what they've been thoroughly impressed with are defensive backs, but also the offensive line. So offensive line, which we knew was going to be pretty good. A lot of, some returners as well as some plug-and-play guys that they were able to grab in the transfer portal. However, they seem to be a little bit better than we probably give them credit for, because they're going against a very good defensive front/defense altogether and practice every day. So who do you give the edge to right now? Is it the DBs that are facing the all-stars on the outside with the wide receivers, or is the offensive line providing that time for these wide receivers to be able to get open and look good against the DBs? Who's better?
It's funny. So I go back. You remember the story of Cam Newton's recruitment, and Curtis Looper was going to actually check out their wide receiver. Like that's who they were going to see. And they're at practice and they're like, he's like, Dad, gum, who is that quarterback? Who is that? I feel like that's what's happening with this DB room, because scouts are coming to see, obviously, the wide receivers. They're coming to watch Eric Singleton and then go ahead and kind of get the jump on Cam Coleman. And they're coming to look at some of the offensive line guys. Obviously, Xavier Chaplin's one of the bigger ones that everybody thinks could be a first-round pick. Connor Liu's a guy that could shoot up into that second-round conversation as an interior offensive lineman if he were to decide to go. But when they get here, they can't stop talking about the defensive backs, it seems like. You got a legitimate three, depending on who you ask, 4-man possible rotation on outside at outside corner. I think they've been the bigger surprise, one of the bigger surprises of those groups. I mean, if I had to say who's coming out of the fall camp so far, if I had to rank who's having the better fall, I mean, it's got to be the DBs. Wow. You've heard about some offensive struggles when they go to 11 on 11. I mean, they're blanketing these dudes that are elite, and I would give the edge right now. I mean, it could always change, but I'd give the edge if I had to pick between those two of who's having the better fall so far, definitely to the defensive back room. I'm telling y'all, they're good. They're really good, and they're deep. And it's like who's making the play today? Which new face? I mean, you had his name escapes me. Transfers Jaquez Robinson, who nobody ever talks about, and he has an interception in the scrimmage on Friday. So they're just so deep. It's a new. People forget about Champ Anthony. I mean, Champ Anthony was probably one of the best defensive backs playing the best football at the time of his injury last year of anybody.
That was the biggest heartache for me. That's the biggest heartache for me all season.
Oh no,
I love the way he played. I love the way his swagger that he had, and I think that takes that when you're a DB. I mean, I don't think people understand, Kyle, playing DB at the collegiate or the pro level. These guys are smaller than most everybody they're going against, and they're basically asked to put their life on the line every time they go to square somebody up. And so I think the reason I'm getting excited about the DBs is because how many times have you and I had this discussion, whether it be on the pod, whether it be on air with me, or whether it be us playing golf, where I'm so sick of 3rd and long and not getting off the field.
Yeah.
And I think that there's an opportunity with our ends that we have this year and with our DBs being able to actually cover people that I'm assuming that they will be able to do just because of the hype that we're giving them. And I think there's an opportunity we talked about how many times that happened against Auburn, being 3rd and long, not being able to go off the field. Now we may be talking about, hey, finally, it's 3rd and long. We got some shutdown guys, so we're about to get some good field position here. And that would be a welcome change for the Auburn faithful, the Auburn base, to be able to say something like that.
Yeah, they're good, man. I'm telling you, they're going to be a special group, I think.
I heard. I will say this really quickly is I did hear somebody, they were comparing Connor Liu. They were talking like a Jason Kelsey type guy that may not.
He was good
as far as size and all that. You look at him and you go, I just don't know. But everybody talks about what a quarterback he is on the line of scrimmage and how he basically can handle defenses, at least from a mental standpoint, and how that will transition to the pro game. So like you said, you just said just a minute ago, if he's able to move up in the draft, I think he will. I think because of that, when people sit down and they talk to him, they're going to be thoroughly impressed with what he has between the ears and be able to move himself up in the draft. Now, with that, all that said, one thing that I don't keep up with that you do keep up with, that is recruits that are coming in. And I told you I would be my vision was somewhere finishing between 13 and 17 as far as top 25 class. Are we on pace to that? Because I'm starting to buy in now that we may possibly be on pace for that.
Yeah, Auburn picked up a huge commitment from Jace Matthews on Friday. He's, depending on which service you look at, he's basically a top 5 wide receiver in the whole country. top 100 overall player. It's Auburn's third top 100 player in a very small class, quality over quantity. And there's a really good chance that Auburn lands another top 100 player, and this guy would be a 5-star safety in Braylon Womack. They're looking at eyeing his commitment, I think, towards the end of August, somewhere around August 20th to 25th. I can't remember the exact date. Doesn't really matter. The point is Auburn jumped all the way up into – I'm going by the 247 composite rankings, all the way up into the low 50s after just that one commitment, somewhere around 15-ish spots. And should they land Braylon Womack, they're going to be in the low 30s with a big jump there. Then it turns into it's time to start flipping because right now, as we speak, there's only 5 players in the top 100 that are uncommitted, with Braylon Womack being one of them. Okay, so kids are committed. They just are. Like if you want to get those top end guys, the way you're going to have to get them is going to be flipping. You're going to have to flip them or get them to decommit and then, open their recruitment up and commit to you at a later date. And there's several guys that are, top end prospects that Auburn's still keeping in contact with. You got the number 1 offensive tackle or number 2 offensive tackle in the country that's still saying he's going to come visit, even though he's committed to Oregon. It's flip time. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. But like I said, before kickoff starts, on 247's composite rankings, they'll be in the low 30s, and you could only be, who knows, you could be 2 commits away from jumping inside the top 20 and being right exactly where you are. I think Auburn's on pace. It's going to take some work, and it's going to take some flips. And I would say I would wager that the vast majority of the commits after Braylon are going to be flips, almost all of them. So you're at 13. That puts you at 13 commits. If you want to be at that 18 to 20 range as far as class size, do the math. It's going to be 5 to 6 flips to get you there. So they flipped 8 last year, should be able to do it again.
I was going to say, in your magic 8 ball with signing day being in December now, because forget February, we always have like 1 signed in February. Wouldn't have even had that if it had been a reclassification this past year. So are we looking forward to a quote unquote Merry Flipmas this December again?
You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice because everybody's committed. So I'd say, I think if with a good, a solid season, Auburn could easily make some noise, especially after that little October run. If they can go on that October to early November run, you could see a lot of action on the recruiting trail. So I would think if Auburn can finish with somewhere between 18 to 20 commits, I would imagine they're all going to be pretty solid. And those last 6-ish are going to all be flipped from, big time programs. So I think they're on pace. Just got to go win games now.
I said it yesterday. I say it again. I'm ready to get hurt again.
I'm prepared.
I am.
I'm ready for pain. No,
I am completely bought in.
You're locked in. This is the life cycle of a fan, man. We're there. We're ready to be hurt. So it's going to be fun.
Especially an Auburn fan.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, thanks for listening. It's another bonus episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.